Many human health and development activities have harmed the environment. These activities cause ecosystem degradation and biodiversity loss. As a result, both human and animal health are threatened in the long term, especially under the One Health framework. Environmental damage from deforestation, industrial agriculture, and overexploitation of natural resources has led to biodiversity loss and ecosystem imbalance. This increases the risk of zoonotic and environmental-driven diseases. There are three objectives. Firstly, to analyze ethical issues related to environmental impact in One Health. Secondly, to explain how environmental degradation affects human and animal health. And the last one, to identify sustainable and ethical approaches that balance health needs and ecosystem. Significance of study. First, healthy ecosystems are essential for disease prevention, food security, and long-term public health. Second, ethical environmental management ensures sustainable One Health solutions and also protection of humans, animals, and the environment.
Scientific accuracy. First is environmental damage and ecosystem imbalance. The temperature of the atmosphere rise with the concentration of greenhouse gas, and climate change raise the temperature. Rapid physiochemical changes in the land, atmosphere, and water have been brought on by rising greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere. It is expected to exceed the 1.5 threshold by 2040 according to the most recent assessment. Pervasive effects of the climate change on people and socio-ecological system. At the same time, it has been stated that natural resources including land, woods, and water are being depleted or deteriorated in many parts of the world, and more species than ever before are in danger of going. Second is deforestation. The 2020 Global Forest Resource Assessment (FRA) indicated that 10 million hectares of forests were lost annually between 2015 and 2020. About 6 to 17% of the world anthropogenic CO2 emissions are caused by deforestation and forest degradation. Shifting cultivation, plantation, fire, logging, drought, and pest damage are some of the causes. Oil palm and rubber production dominate Malaysian agriculture, which is crucial to the country's economic growth. However, the oil palm and rubber industry have been connected to serious environmental issues such as deforestation, the exploitation of peatland, and burning of biomass, which release CO2 into the atmosphere and contribute to the climate change. The majority of carbon removed by terrestrial ecosystem, which collectively eliminate 29% of yearly CO2 emission, comes from the forest. Exposure to the high temperature can pose a serious risk to human health. Heat stress can lower labor productivity, severely impact mood and mental health, and impede physical performance. Third is zoonotic disease. Environmental elements, climate change, animal health, and other human activities including travel, urbanization, and globalization are linked to the spread of zoonotic disease. Due to frequent interaction between household animal and wildlife, nearly 25% of the original forest cover has been lost globally. Over 75% of terrestrial habitats and 66% of marine environments have been significantly damaged or changed by human activity. The fragmentation of wildlife habitat brought about by urbanization, infrastructure development, and uncontrolled exploitation through widespread hunting, trade, and consumption has resulted in a decline in biodiversity and increase in the interaction between disease vectors and hosts, and a worsening of disease spillover among humans, domestic animals, and wild animals.
The solution is to prevent harm at the human, animal, and environment. Before begin the large project, they need to use One Health to assess the impact on ecosystem, human and animals. They use One Health to monitor the health of people, animals, nature and environment. Economic also to reward the protection. They can consider biodiversity and ecosystem as health capital, aligned with the SDG, which demonstrate that deterioration can result in both health and income loss. Polluters need to pay a fine if they do activities that cause the disease, a loss of biodiversity, and fund for restoration. Third is build strong shared governance and develop the formal legal structure that acknowledge ministries share accountability for environment and health. Alternative to creating a separate sector plans, they need to create integrated plan and budget for zoners, food safety and environmental threats. And the community rights and equity also a solution to early on the in the planning and oversight of the One Health initiative include communities and conservation actors to manage land, animals, and water more sustainably, integrate scientific understanding with indigenous and local wisdom. We see the collaboration among the related agency. First is human health is held under Ministry of Health Malaysia. It needs to have cost effectiveness analysis of prevention versus treatment and advocate for upstream ecosystem protection as a health investment. Next is animal health is under Veterina Malaysia to monitor zoonosis in livestock and wildlife, advise on wildlife threat and farming impacts. And third is environmental is under Ministry of Environmental, map and protect high-risk ecosystem to lead habitat restoration and bring ecosystem science into health decision. And last but not least is finances and embed One Health into budgets, taxes, and subsidies. The challenges of all the strategy is human and veterina will affected when the environment and biodiversity often underfunded, and policies often focus on high-profile threats such as pandemic COVID-19 that attack worldwide instead of local problem. And the power will be imbalanced between the countries and institutions while solve the
Under
problem.
the SDG 3, good health and well-being, environmental pollution is a major contributor to respiratory, cardiovascular and other chronic diseases. Exposure to toxic chemicals from conventional methods increases long-term health risks. By shifting toward non-toxic and biodegradable materials, we can significantly reduce human exposure to harmful substances. Preventive environmental protection not only improves public health outcomes but also helps to lower long-term healthcare demands associated costs. Also, the SDG 12 responsible consumption and production emphasizes designer products with their entire life cycle in mind. Instead of generating persistent waste, biodegradable products safely decompose at the end of their use, returning nutrients to the soil. This approach reduces pressure on landfill, minimizes pollution, and lowers dependence on finite natural resources. Together, these strategies support a healthier population and more sustainable production
In
system.
conclusion, our analysis shows that human health is inseparable from the health of our environment. First, regarding health, we must shift our focus to prevention. Investing in ecosystem protection is far more cost effective than treating disease after their spillover from wildlife to humans. Second, for the environment, we must prioritize habitat restoration. By protecting high-risk ecosystem, we can safeguard the biodiversity that act as a natural buffer against climate change and zoonotic threats. Finally, for community and economic stability, we propose a model that integrates local wisdom from formal legal structure by holding polluters financially accountable and one wedding, one health international project. We can fund the restoration of our planet's